Alright, today let's talk about RAM. So for the build, I did end up getting two kits of 2 times 8 gigabyte DIMMs at 3000 megahertz speed. So the reason I did this because at the time of filming, when I was getting RAM, prices are all over the place. They might still be when this video actually goes live, but it was actually cheaper for me to get a 2x8 kits of RAM from Corsair than it would be to get a 4x8 kit, because I wanted 32 gigs of RAM. That's just how much I wanted. 64 is completely unnecessary. 16 is just not quite enough. So I wanted to go with a full 32. So it was better off for, like, financial wise to do this. It's not going to affect performance at all. Some people might say it will, but it's the same exact kit. It's just, I mean, they're just going to put two of them together to get the 32 gig kit anyways. So it's really not that big of a deal. I'd recommend going with this if it's cheaper. Usually it won't be. It shouldn't be cheaper. It should always be cheaper to get the 4x8 kit than two separate 2x8 kits. It's just up to you. So I went with the Corsair RGB Vengeance Pro Ram. So it's unnecessary if you don't have my case is 2 sides, it's got plexi on it. So you're gonna see the RAM obviously, so I was okay with spending the extra money on this. I would not recommend this extra cost for this sort of RAM unless if you have a case that's just a closed side with a metal panel and you can't see into it. It's not going to affect it. It's just RGB. It's not going to make it any faster. You're better off saving money and getting faster RAM. The reason I was okay with going with a little bit of a lower speed, 3000 megahertz, instead of, like, you can get kits that are 3200 megahertz or 4000 megahertz. You could still overclock this RAM just like any other RAM as long as your motherboard can handle that. Not all motherboards can. Mine can handle an overclock, so I will be overclocking it. It doesn't make a huge difference to, like, FPS for gaming, but it's just enough where it's maybe worth it to do if you're comfortable doing that sort of thing. So let's break open this box and see what's inside. Alright, so I've already opened up this one, taken it out of the packaging. So this is one of the 2 kits. It's got a nice black PCB, very good looking RAM. Nice heavy feeling, nice heatsink on it. So let's get this one open as well. So there's not a whole lot that comes with it because it's just RAM. There's nothing extra, no instructions in the box. Everything you need to know is on the back of it. So let's get this in the motherboard. Alright, so let's get the RAM in the computer now. For the stick on the very end, I did end up pulling off the sticker on the back with the serial number, barcode, and all the information on it. I would recommend keeping this, but I also like to take it off because it's this one on the end. It looks a lot cleaner having just a blank side rather than have the barcode on there. So it'll only go in one way, the right way. It does matter what slot you put it in if you're just using 2 sticks. Because I'm doing 4, it really doesn't matter a whole lot. I'm not saying that the Corsair Vengeance is the best RAM. It's really good RAM. I got it because all my peripherals are Corsair. The AIO is going to be Corsair. So everything can just use the IQ software, and that I would recommend getting everything that uses one software, so you don't have to worry about having 3 or 4 different RGB controllers for everything. I'm just going to be having 2. The one for the motherboard, the GPU is going to be RGB Fusion from Gigabyte, which is their personal software, and everything will use that, or it'll use the IQ software from Corsair for things like the RAM, the AIO, the keyboard, the mouse pad is also RGB, and the headphone stand, they're all RGB, so they all will use the same software, which in my opinion is a way better way of doing it, because instead of having to go through each software, you could do one. I think the Corsair one is fantastic because you can create these profiles and multiple different sort of shows and make everything sort of work together, and it looks a lot cleaner and better in my opinion. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them below. Remember to subscribe for more. Next week I should be doing a video about installing the M.2 SSD. And then after that, permitting there is stock available, I'll be getting an i9 in here, 9900K, and be putting in the AIO, which is going to be a Corsair 115 Platinum Edition, which has got a really good look to it. It's a 280mm, it's plenty of cooling for the i9, maybe a little bit overkill, but I will be overclocking it, so it's nice to have that little bit of extra cooling headroom.